I grew up going to church we went 3 times a week. My mom was the church secretary. My dad was a deacon. We were at church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. For me, it was like my home. And then when I was in high school, some things happened and my family ended up leaving that church. It was the first time I kind of realized that it's made up of people who are flawed. And by the time I hit college, I was very frustrated and I didn't think I could get that like home feeling back from church.
I didn't grow up in church. Church was always, at the most we went Christmas and Easter, that kind of, very, very rarely. And honestly, until I met Amanda and her family, I always just believed that being good was your ticket to heaven, I guess. And we went to college together, and then we came back here and joined a church, got really involved.
We really wanted community in church.
I was gonna say, funny enough, that church when we first joined didn't have a young marrieds, newlyweds, or anything like that group. But shortly after that, they did put together a newlyweds group because they realized that there was a need for that. We were one of the first families to join it. We all kind of had kids at the same time, but it was all very surface level.
I spent a lot of time trying to hide what I really thought about things or how I really felt about things because I wanted to be accepted. The biggest thing that we missed when we left that church was the community. We missed having people that we could share life with and people we could do life with. And it took us a long time, I think, to be willing to try a new church. And then once we found Northpoint, it took me a year, maybe a full year before I was willing to try a group.
I think the first group we did was the How Not to Read the Bible group. Mm-hmm. I was ready to go into that one and battle basically. And I felt like that group allowed for the conversations, messy conversations. There weren't pre-formulated answers that the church had prepared and we had to accept. It was like, hey, let's talk about it.
I decided to join a group for women after How Not to Read the Bible, and I was terrified walking into that group. And I am not a crier or an emotional person, especially around people I don't know. But I sat in that room and got asked to briefly share my story, and I just started bawling in front of everybody. But I think it was almost a release of it felt like a safe place to be because I was sitting in a room of women who were also sharing messy stories and experiences and questions and hurt and just be who we were. It was a very transformative experience for me to recognize that I could find that again.
Finding friends, making friends has always been tough for me. And so I was really afraid of trying again. In Amanda's group, one of the people in her group, her husband, has a gaming group loosely related to the church. And so I kind of weaseled my way into that group. And there's been a lot of times in the last couple years that I've needed some help. And they've been there for me. And I don't know if I've ever had that before. On top of that, I've recently joined a morning men's group. It all happened right at the right time. Like a week or two after I joined both those groups, I got some really crazy news from some family members. My role kind of fell apart a little bit. And being able to lean on those guys has meant, it's saved me for sure.
I've really learned that in order for my relationship with God to be growing, I need to be in community. And God has really taught me that when I'm willing to open up a little bit and let people in, not only do I get closer to God, and not only is it a great opportunity for me to deepen my faith, I've learned that I can impact others with that too.
I don't think we're here to do this alone.